Well, every kayak tells a story. And my paddling story started at university back in the 1980s, paddling old fibreglass kayaks. My first kayak was a Clubman. I thought it was a beautiful thing. Sparkling blue deck and white fibreglass hull. We largely taught ourselves to paddle down at the local beach, surfing and teaching ourselves skills and self-teaching ourselves to roll. And we paddled those fibreglass kayaks on rivers like the Franklin in Tasmania. We broke our boats during the day and patched them up with fibreglass by the fire at night. And I raced K1s and TK1s and built fleets of kayaks and canoes for schools and uni programs. I paddled a Nordkap in New Zealand, an ice floe around the Prom, a pitarack along the Victorian exposed west coast, all before the era of plastic. Now I've been reunited with one of those old fibreglass kayaks. It's been lost for 20 years. And this is the story of that kayak, a Mirage. Well, I recently got my hands on this old Mirage single sea kayak. Now, I paddled this kayak back in 2006 on the last leg of my Murray River expedition with students on the Lower Murray and across Lake Alexandrina and down to the ocean. That's the last time I probably saw it. Mirage kayaks are made in Australia, handmade, handcrafted up in New South Wales. They're a bit quirky in some regards, but the layer of gel coat which first goes into the mould of any fibreglass kayak is super smooth and has very little friction. You can cover a lot of miles in a boat like this, so let's give it the once over and get it ship shape and get it back on the water. Now, it's fair to say that Ponch probably doesn't need another kayak. These are my two Salamanders. They're my main working kayaks. We've got another Mirage, but this is a double for two paddlers. A couple of Latitude 15 footers, good estuary boats. And of course I've got a couple of racing kayaks over there and my old green canoe. So, no shortage of kayaks to go for a paddle in. That's going to be trouble. And you're trying to move these old nuts that have been, if they haven't been maintained, they just get welded in place. And you end up having to invent tools to try and do the job. That's the life of a sea kayak repairer. That's going to need a bit more encouragement than that. In we go with the heavy duty stuff. You beauty. Now let's see what sort of shape this is in. Now that's not bad. That is not bad at all. It's just got a few years of salt and sand and a little touch of rust in there somewhere. You know, it's nice to know if you give it a bit of maintenance, TLC, it's not going to fail on you. Now your feet move these pedals, and these lines will run down the length of the boat to the rudder to move the rudder to give you steerage. One of the pedals has its cabling and everything is fine. That's a little piece of stainless steel wire, I guess you'd call it. Now I haven't got a replacement piece for that. What I do have is this old bike cable off the Trek 4500 when I had to wreck that in my attempt to replace the gear mechanism. One cable, one shifter. This is why we don't throw anything out. Beautiful. Beautiful. It doesn't have to be a perfect replica. The distance is the main thing. Right, let's get creative. So it's a little bit of shock cord, and it's just got to hold the pedals up here, so when we depress the pedal, that's fine, but it stops the pedal from flopping down when we take our feet off the pedals, because then it's really difficult to get your foot back under the pedal in the cockpit and get it back up into that position to deploy it. So move forward and back. Right, let's try that. I got one. This is what makes the whole system adjustable. And then paddle the little pedals with your feet. That goes down through this. You can adjust this once you're in the boat to the length that you need. When those lines are tight, all of a sudden we have a workable rudder once more. Now these rear deck lines are important for, not so much for keeping the hatch on, but you've got to be able to store a spare paddle back here. Just driving down to see my mate Frenzy and to get the Mirage on the water for a paddle. So we've driven over the Strzelecki's down to our nearest bit of coastline for a little town called Inverloch and a paddle on Anderson Inlet. And there he is, geared up and ready.
Good to see you, mate.
Likewise. Yeah, good. Okay, take it out for a maiden paddle.
Get her off.
Work drivers.
Jeez, that's unbelievable.
What's that, mate?
Different to anything.
Oh, light as a feather.
That is unbelievable.
Beautiful, mate. Been a long time for the old Mirage to be floating.
Finally back in action.
Mal did something for the uni,
Yeah.
Leonards and Boats or something, and so he was given this in place of payment.
Wow.
And come into work one day and it wasn't there. And I said, where's that Mirage gone?
Deary me.
And Mal had it all these years.
All these years, and you could just see Mel. Now, instead of payment,
And I don't know if it ever got on the water with Mal. It was just covered in dust and everything broken. So it probably got out with some TAFE students, but yeah, busted a few things,
what's going on?
which is good because the hull's in real nice shape. We should know that, being old PE teachers, shouldn't we, mate?
We should.
Sun behind us instead of sun in the eyes.
That's right.
All right, this is me, mate, Prinsy,
G'day.
Alex Prinsy Prins. Prinsy, these are your home waters, mate.
Home waters.
So we're out on Anderson Inlet. What's the tide doing and where are we going?
The tide is just starting to come in, so it might be, and there's no swell today, so it might be nice if you'd like to, Ponch. What a great opportunity to over the bar and have a bit of a paddle out in Bass Strait somewhere.
Oh, that sounds awesome to me, mate. I've got all day. You got to go back to work.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a 12 o'clock sharp. 12 o'clock meeting sharp, Ponch.
We're just squeezing
Might
a little mental health paddle in for Prinsy this morning.
It's needed.
All right, let's go for a blast. Well, a little bit tippier than a Sally, this boat.
Yeah, it is a bit rocky, is it? You have to have a payoff. You've been screaming ahead of me.
Oh, I just got my knees up like I'm sitting on a surf ski.
Oh yeah. Spreading out, just letting the waves rock you to and fro.
So I'm just balancing on my bum cheeks.
Yeah.
Well, this is Anderson Inlet. Fantastic little estuary on the south coast of Victoria in southern Australia. Quite a small estuary, so a lot of tidal movement. The flood tide and the ebb tide are really strong here. So you've got to time your paddle. Low tide, it's big, wide expanses of mud flats. And then once the tide gets up and cranking, it rips in here. You can actually see the water falling off the edge of the flats here in a wave and standing up on the edge of the channel. Distinct difference in height of the water. That's amazing. I've done quite a bit of paddling down here. Overnight trips. Just general exploring and fishing. I was just pulling in my line thinking it had a bit of weed on it. The tide's so strong, I couldn't feel this little salmon. Beauty. They're just gems of places. Estuaries. Such rich waterways that little townships were built up around them, you know, over 100 years ago.
Point Smythe, right down to Cape Lip Trap, all the way over there, if you can see that little bit in the distance. It always sticks out further than I think when you sit here.
The poor old beach at Imby is washing away, mate.
Washing away. Metres and metres of it every year, unfortunately.
Climate change, sea level rise.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, we're going to paddle up past Anderson Inlet's brand new dredge.
Brand new dredge, that's right.
It might be a necessary evil.
Yes. Yes, I'm not totally sure, but they want to pump the sandbank from in the inlet down onto the beach.
Okay.
The main beach.
All right. Well,
so here we go.
let's do a paddle past, mate, and find somewhere for morning tea. It's basically like a massive generator on a barge.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting well into winter down here on the south coast. We've got a warm northerly blowing. It's humid, I've rolled up my sleeves, and we've got a dredge, trying to dredge sand out of the mouth of the estuary. I think someone needs to join the dots. Here's the pickup line, then going across to the dredge and getting pumped to that next pumper, and then down the coast to try and protect and build up the coastline. Very interesting. That's a massive change for Anderson Inlet, one of my local waterways. Pick a good spot for a cuppa, mate. Morning brew.
Oh, have a look at this. Kenyan. We're having a Kenyan brew. Oh, thank you very much, Ponch.
Spot, eh?
Perfect. And have a look at this.
Enjoy the meeting, Cringy. Always loved working on paddling technique. And a nice, fast boat encourages you to work on your technique. You know, good flat water paddling skill. It's the fundamental of all kayaking. Reach, nice powerful pull, and push clear the blade earlier than you think at your hips. Get some real drive out of the paddle stroke. Good posture. Just find your groove. Settle in. There's a little creek comes into the side of the estuary here called Screw Creek. I'm going to see if I can trace a little bit of deep water up there to find a bit of shelter and tuck into a bit of lunch. I'm really pleased with how the boat's travelling. I've got that foot bar in the right position. The pedals are working well. The rudder's nice and responsive. Being such a long boat, it's got great speed and crests those little wavelets. But it also takes some manoeuvrability in these little tight channels. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, it's nice to have got the Mirage back on the water and given it its first paddle for 20 odd years. You know, in the end, you know, you go through a paddling life with lots of different craft, lots of different styles and makes and models, and it's about the journeys you do and the stories you share with people along the way. Even just a little day like today, just to get out and give the boat a test run and catch up with a good mate and have a cuppa by the side of the water, you know, it makes it worthwhile. That's what paddling's all about.